And if I'm not mistaken, you sometimes use wardrobe out of the set, like for
I have
shows or.
Yeah, I've borrowed suits from the set because if you go to a bunch of different events and you're wearing the same suit, eventually people notice. And you're basically saying I have one suit.
I have one suit.
Yeah. I now have two suits. I got that white suit, and I have two suits. So I borrowed a suit for the GLAAD Awards, I think, that I wore on the show.
And do you do this the other way around? Do you sometimes wear your own clothes while you're shooting?
Not allowed.
Never?
Never.
It's not
Even if
allowed?
if you have a necklace on, they or my rubber band I have to take off. They don't let you.
So, contrary to most some couples, Luke and Noah have waited a long time to be together and to live together. In your opinion, what's the next step for them? A wedding, an adoption?
I think they've got a lot.
I hope no adoption. I hope no adoption. I love working with kids, but no.
And I think just in terms of what they've been dealing with, you know, the problems that they go through, they're younger problems still, and I think that's, and I like that they keep it there. I think especially for younger audience, you know, members, I think it's an important storyline.
And I think one of the not problems with soaps, but I think they tend to grow up their younger cast across the board very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that Luke and Noah have stayed. You know, they're not dealing with issues that really should be dealt with people in their 30s or older.
Luke just got a job. Noah doesn't have a job. They can't support me.
Noah works at Java.
Oh well, yes.
Way to go, Jake.
But he's a student too. He's doing that to pay for student loans, and that meant that he doesn't have the job. Okay, you know what?
And do you think that Luke and Noah would be this popular if they weren't gay?
No.
No.
We wouldn't be here today.
No.
No.
I mean, is there a Maddie and Casey message board, or Maddie and Allison and Casey, Allison, whoever she's with? You know? I think that is what is the popularity.
That's a huge message.
And with the way it's and with the way that the story's been told.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. It's just not conventional. And I think it's been really told with dignity to both the characters
And to the audience, you know. And I know that there are issues, like for instance, how long it took for the characters to sleep together, or whatever. That I know that the audience does have issues with that. But I think from the show's point of view, it's the first time that this was ever done in daytime. And I think that it was really important to get not just the people who are here, who are fans of the couple, but people, especially, you know, in certain places in America, you know, there is a lot of negativity about gay relationships. So I think that in order to I think that's part of the reason why it was told so slowly. And I think that a good thing about it being told slowly, it was told in the way that soap operas used to tell stories back in the 80s and the 70s and stuff. So it was very much a classic love story on a soap opera.
And given what we know about the characters now, don't you think that, I think it makes sense that it took as long as it did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure somebody in this room said the opposite,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I feel like in retrospect, and just the way it was told, I think it all makes sense. So, yeah.
Little airtime, don't you think?
You know what? I looked on a message board, and in the last year and a half, I've been like the number 8 character on the show. So I think that's a lot. I mean, I've had more episodes than Holden has. So, I mean, we'd obviously like to work more. But, you know, that's not anything we can control.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't do anything about it. And also, I think you can't do anything about it either. But last year there was a scene when Noah returned from Italy. There was a nice scene in Old Town that was cut from the show.
That actually happens a lot.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how many scenes, it's not just us, it's...
Yeah, it's across the board, every, you know.
It's a time issue with the show, because the writers, this is how it works, the writers are always told to write, well, they've gotten used to writing a little bit more than what the show, you know, calls for, because it's better to write too much than to write too little, because if they write too little, they might be, you know,
well,
rushed.
sometimes we'll have to, you know, if they write too little, you know, 2 weeks before the show goes to air, there'll be a scene that they put into the show.
Right, that they had to rush.
That they had to rush. But, I mean, when we get, almost every day there's cuts. Like, you get to work and there's what is called the desk script, where it's this script on a desk, and you look at it and there'll be like 4 pages can be cut out of the scene, or.
But it is a little bit more unusual to tape a scene that doesn't. But it
But
does
it
happen.
does happen.
It does happen.
It really
it's
does
not. It's
happen.
not unusual. And I don't think it was cut for any
No.
censor reason.
No.
But the scene was later on put on the internet after the
Really?
fans reacted to it.
Well,
What
that's
do you
good.
think about it?
Yeah,
It's great.
That's great that it was put
Yeah.
on. I'm wondering how it was put on.
It was on As the World Turns website.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the official website.
They did it for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's nice of them.
Yeah. Deleted scene.
Yeah.
Val, I have a question for you.
Yes.
How come you played drunk so well?
How come you played the band so well?
Drunk!
Oh. We've talked about this. That's.
I was drunk. I wasn't. I actually, when I found out that I had to basically be drunk for 3 months, I went and I read about what other actors did, because I think that playing drunk, you can either do it really well or it can be awful. So I read about like what a lot of other actors did, and I found this one quote from somebody who had to play drunk on Broadway every single night. I forget who it was, but they said that they just pretended that they didn't have any bones, so that everything was just kind of like.
What I love about when Van plays drunk, though, it's he doesn't do too much. He really follows that, and I think it's all very subtle, and you're kind of like, what? You know, it's just these little things that you know to be, and it works. It works. It really. I've always said that you play a great drunk. So
Thank you.
And Jake, how could you not crack it when Van was playing drunk? Because it's really so funny.
not to Noah, it's not.
No. Luke, why are you drinking?
Noah doesn't approve. And yet, every now and then, he'll drink in front of him. Which I think is we talk about that. We're like, is this, when we're like at a bar, and we're just like, is this
Yeah.
not an alcoholic beer? Is this?
Yeah.
It's not? Okay.
Yeah, because then Luke will be like sitting there and Noah's like knocking him back a beer. Not very supportive, huh?